Namo Namaha. Susayam Priyamitrani. Sarvam Kushalam Kim. So it's a great pleasure to be back with you again on this live session. And I was wanting to do this with you because of the uncertainty regarding the exams, and also the fact that there's been a long gap since you've done your last assignments. We've tried to keep the forum going, we've shared some material with you. So I hope that you have been also actively participating in that. I would also like to say that if anybody still has any questions on the forum, please feel free to connect with us. And we have our TAs, Piyush and Dolon and all, who are very active there, and they will reply to you, and I would also participate as and when required. So with these words, namaste, and this particular session is again a doubt clearance session, as well as if you have any other thoughts, if you have any other questions in this field of Sanskrit that you'd like to know, I would try my best to answer that. So Arnabji, we have already started. I can see there are some questions coming in. So Ravi Shankarji, Susayam, Chandrasekharji, Namaste, Sri Lakshmi Bhagini and Jean-Marc Mahodaya, Namo Namaha. Very nice to see you there. Suswagatam, Swarna Bhagini, or Swarna Shri, no, Swarna Asti. It has started, Arnabji. Hari Om Mahodaya, Namaste. So I just wanted to also inform you that we are having a little bit of a network issue. So if there is a lag, please bear with us and just be a little patient, and we'll be back with you. All right. So just feel free to let me know whatever you would like to, if you have any doubts in any matter regarding this. So I'll just take the questions that have been asked so far on the Google Sheet, and then if you have any questions coming up here, I can answer that. So Tyagaraju Mahodaya, Namaste. So here we have a question from Ram Prasad ji. He was asking us to send a few assignments so that you can update a few shlokams strengthening our vibhaktis. Astu Mahodaya, there is still some time, and we'll definitely see how we can share a few more shlokas so that you can practice the application of the vibhaktis in those particular shlokas. Astu. So we'll try and make something available, maybe one week or something like that, or maybe one, we'll just see what is feasible there. The next I have got Manikandanji, who says program is really good, thank you very much, and Bahu Dhanyavadaha. Regarding the exam, so that's a very big question that many of you have in your minds. So from the latest reports, because of the uncertainty and the uncertainty especially of knowing how and when and where we can conduct the in-person exams, we have been considering, doing these online from home exams, and we've had some trial rounds, but we are looking into better options. So from what I have learned from the concerned authorities, is that the exams are likely to take place in the last week of June. So we would definitely try and wrap up the series by the end of this month. So gear up, because you've got 3 weeks now to fully prepare. By now you should have gone into the advanced levels. Tari Sanskrita Abhyasa Karanartham Bahu Avasaraha Asti. Astu, Tari Kripaya Abhyasam Kurvantu. So please do the practice, and the most important thing is that Kripaya Sambhashanasya Abhyasam Kurvantu. That is really the fastest way that you will be able to, you will be able to get this language embedded in your own mind structures. Okay. So Kripaya Tatra Sambhashanasya Prayatnam Kurvantu. Yada Pathanti, when you are reading, Tada Kripaya Uchchai Pathantu. So read aloud. Yadi Uchchai Pathanti, Tari Shravana Samskaraha Bhavati. Then you will have the possibility of listening to the language, and that listening is what is going to instruct your being about the grammar or the grammatical forms in a more spontaneous manner. Tari Kripaya Yada Yada Sanskrita Abhyasam Kurvanti Tada Tada Nishchayena Uchchahi Pathitva Abhyasam Kurvantu. So whenever you need to, whenever you're reading or you're preparing for Sanskrit or you're revising, Kripaya, please read it aloud, because that is going to be the surest way and the most joyful way, more than anything else. That's the most joyful way of finding your connection with this language. Astu. And so it's going to be a 2-in-1, because you will get the language and you will get the joy of it. Astu. Grammar api bhavati, anandaha api bhavati. Right? Astu. So we have some questions here. Itopi Srinivas Mahodaya Vadati, we like your teaching very much. Bahu dhanyavada. Full reference in a separate PDF of the Subhashitams and quotations, which are very interesting. Astu, that is a very good suggestion. So what I will do is I will request again Piyush and Dolon to try, and we also have Ramya, who's another very dear friend and a very good Sanskrit scholar. I will request them to try and make a PDF of the verses from the course, so that it becomes easy for you to go through them, learn them, because that learning of it and keeping it in your head is what will make it part of your life. In fact, there is a very beautiful shloka there. It says, Pustakastha ya vidya parahasta gatam dhanam prapte tu sampada kale nasa vidya natat dhanam. Okay, so it says that Pustakastha ya vidya, the knowledge which is there in the books, parahasta gatam dhanam. So it's your money, but it's in someone else's hands. Prapte tu sampadi kale. So when it is a time of danger or when you need it, nasa vidya natad dhanam. We can know a lot, but I mean, you can know where a lot of information is. But when you need to write an exam and you don't know the answer there, that knowledge is of no practical applicational value at that point. Similarly with money, one can have a lot of money in the bank, but if you don't have access to it and you're hungry now, that money is not going to serve of any purpose. So keeping this shloka in mind, please try and learn these verses, because there are some very valuable insights in each of them. They're very valuable life lessons, and that's the reason why these Subhashitas are worth memorizing. Astu. Tariyatra, we have some more. We have Tyagaraja ji, one is I must to pass this exam in order to take the intermediate level. No, the good news is you don't have to pass this exam. You have to prepare yourself. You have to be happy and confident that you are going to be able to undertake it, because as you're aware, it's a much longer course. It's a 20-hour course and it's much more extensive. The portion is very extensive, all right, and because the portion is so extensive, you would there's a lot of revision also in the beginning, so there would be a little more demand from you for that the second level course. But mama Anuradha asti kripaya dvitiya bhagam intermediate level api kurvantu. Especially if you've had a taste of this language, don't just let it go, because what I have given you is just a very small trailer. The basics just gives you a very, very small trailer of this wonderful universe that Sanskrit literature has to offer, and a little more. The second level course will really give you a little more confidence about how you can avail, directly access a lot of text, because we are also doing some sandhi, we are doing upasargas, we are doing the dhatus across different kinds of lakaras or tenses and moods. We are also looking at the different endings of the words, because we've only looked at akara pullinga, akara strilinga and ikara strilinga and akara napunsakalinga, with a focus primarily on the first ekavachanam, the singular form. But when you are doing this, you will have access to that, so we'll definitely start with that. But then I've tried my best to open a much bigger doorway for you, so that you can walk more confidently on this glorious journey of Sanskrit. Astu. So let me see what others have to say. Is it a must to pass? So Tyagarajaji naiva. Huh? So please feel free. I mean, the enthusiasm is what matters more than the exam and the degree. The exams are good for oneself because it gives you an understanding of how far you've really got it or not got it. Basically that. But it's not dependent. Your knowledge is not dependent on that exam. Please, I mean, that's a very important perspective for us to keep in mind. All these courses, because all of you are doing these courses over and above what you are, your regular lives, your daily commitments. So the fact that you are on this course is in itself a very, very commendable, would you say, a task that you have taken on. And therefore, I think the joy of this language and what it has to offer should be your incentive. And while of course this is a very practical question of the eligibility, the good news is that that is not the case. People, even those who have not done the basics, can definitely join the course if they have a little bit of background. But even so, I would like to inform all of you that supposing there is somebody on this session today who hasn't done the basic level, the good news is that all these courses are there for free on YouTube. So you can go through these. We have sufficient time till August to go through these 4 weeks of courses, and you can prepare yourselves even if you haven't really written this, you haven't enrolled yourself for the course, but the content is available, and that is more than enough to feel confident about pursuing the next level of the course, of the learning. Astu. So here I have Deepak ji. Namaste Deepak ji. So Deepak ji says, Namaste, Man Santosha to have you here. I'm not getting connection. The video is stuck at our end. Saheli ji. Astu. We'll just wait for this to get resolved. So we are having some connectivity issues. Please bear with us. I hope I can see that some of you are able to connect again. Yes, Ravi Shankar ji, at this stage it's not possible. I am not able to hear or see the video. Nay, Kshamitam Vinodji, Idanim, it's not possible to shift to a Zoom, unfortunately, because we are doing it through the regular mode of live sessions, which is directly broadcasted on YouTube. So unfortunately we will not be able to do that for now. So I will just go on with the questions that have been asked, and then I can reply to whatever questions you have on your chat. So Atra, somebody is asking, how can I learn Sanskrit from scratch? Also, I would like to have more vocabulary. I read Lalita Sahasranama but without knowing most of the words. Astu. So to read Sanskrit texts, there are two parts that are required. The first is of course the vocabulary, as you've mentioned, and the second, to make cohesive sense of the content or the literature that is in front of you, you would have to have a basic familiarity with grammar, because that is what is going to tell you how the different words are connected to each other and what is the sense that they want to convey. But if you want to, for example, if you are for the vocabulary specifically, there are many sites that you can access. So I have here, for example, if you're familiar with the spokensanskritdictionary.org, so here you can put in any word. So let's say, supposing we want to do intelligence. Let's see what it says. So it gives you a whole lot of alternatives there. You see, this is a very extensive vocabulary that you can get just on one word. And similarly, so you can ask words in Sanskrit and you can ask words in English. So if you want to ask a word in Sanskrit, there are a few tips that you need to remember, because like if I say buddhi, you will get the translation and other meanings and other associated words with it. But Mula kleshaha, so they have given you associated words in this context. But what, supposing you have a word like Atma, let's just take a word like that. So if you say Atma, so you will have to put an A capital, Atma, like that, and then you will be able to see it. So the long vowels are normally represented with a capital letter. You have the different N's and they would tend to be written with a capital N. So the simple N is the N. The other ones have the other ones like the N, Nya, all of them, you have to try with an N. And then on the side you will get the options and then you can click and look for it. But this is a very easy source where you can access a lot of vocabulary. The other one I was thinking is, we have the Sanskrit Bharti. We have the Sanskrit Bharti website, and they have an excellent collection of books that you can look for. You can look at for your vocabulary. So see, for example, here you have buy books. And I also had a question about easy stories to read. So I will just wait for this to come on. And so I'll wait for it to come on. In the meanwhile, we can I'll just have a look at what are the other chat thing that you've got here. Swarna Bhagini, Namo Namaha, Vinod Mohoday, Dhanyosmi, Piyush, Namaste, Arisusayam. So Piyush is normally beside me, but today he's Katsi Corona, he's plugging in from another place. So Vinodji is saying, privileged to learn India's ancient language. Thanks all of you. I want to type this in Sanskrit after a month. Avashyam. So there is a Google board, in fact, on your phones, which allows this possibility of typing in Sanskrit. So what I would request you to do is that we also have a WhatsApp group. So it's been a very active WhatsApp group that has been formed by the former students of the courses. And in that, there's a lot of discussion. It's a very animated group. Deepak ji is there. We have a few other friends who are very, very active, and they help others to learn, to practice. So if some of you are interested, please feel free to drop us an email. Please feel free to drop us an email with your numbers rather than put it on this public place. I would suggest that you drop us an email. You can write in the forum. So I would request Piyush to maybe start a discussion where you say, whoever wants to join the WhatsApp group, to give your phone numbers there. So that would be a very good avenue for you to interact with several other Sanskrit enthusiasts and Sanskrit lovers. Astu. Tari kripaya tat pashyantu. Jaymani, Namo Namaha. Jyotiji Vadati, Namo Namaha. So I'll just show you the screen now, and I'll show you the few books that are there. So you see, there is like the Sarala Panchatantram. So we have small booklets like that are very good. Subhasha. You also have the Chanda Mama. Besides that, it's buffering. So you also have the Chanda Mama. You also have the Sandesha Patrika of Sanskrit Bharti, which is another good Patrika that you can subscribe to. In fact, Yavad Adhikam Abhyasam Nama Prayogika Abhyasah Asti Tavat Saralam Bhavishyati Yushmakam Krite. So the more you have a practice of reading simple Sanskrit, the more you will become familiar. Plus, in today's context, we are very lucky also, we have the news sessions that happen in Sanskrit. You have Sudharma, the newspaper. So Kripaya, all of you it would be nice if we all subscribe to these papers and magazines to generate more interest and enthusiasm for ourselves as well as for these different editors who are there. So we have them. So you see here, Dvau Bhrataro, Dayalu Hastihi, Chatvara Murkha Sanyasinaha. So you've got some very cute content, very sweet content, simple content that can be made. So we have these books that Sanskrit Bharti has designed for all of us. So Kripaya Etat Pashyantu. And there are some books and all that are also available online. So if you click on it, you can also find them online, which has some very good material. Astu. Then besides that, I have found there are some very good other online programs. You have Vyoma Pathashala, you have Open Sanskrita Pathashala. These are alternative websites that are encouraging a lot of good Sanskrit studies. So please feel free to also connect with these. Like, the objective is not so much about just one source and everybody has to go to one source, not at all. Please find whichever source. What is important is to get the Sanskrit, okay? Whichever source resonates with you is the source that you must follow with your heart. And I would say keep an open mind, because different teachers present subjects differently. So be open to exploring. There is a time shortage and that's not always easy to manage, because as it is people are working in different jobs. So, but doesn't matter, we'll try our best. But sambhashanam kurvantu tad mukhyam asti. Astu. Tari. I'll get back here. Atrasti, I want to appear in proctored exam center. For this, what do I have to do? This is Sangamitra ji saying. We have received a mail stating 3 options for exams. How should I inform them about my choice of options? So, Bhagini, I just want to also let you know that we are not, I mean, still there is a lot of trial going on. So, I was told to let you know that within 2 or 3 days there should be greater clarity, and once these trials have to be tested, because once they are tested we would know if it is a valid option or not to even make it available for you. So, in maybe 3-4 days there will be greater clarity, and when that comes, the accompanying mail will indicate to you how you can choose the option that would be convenient for you. Astu. So, please wait a little bit and it should work. So, Deepak ji is telling me that the video is getting stuck at every minute. Alright, so that is not very easy to, that's not very easy to experience, but we'll do the best we can. Astu. So just hold on there, we are still behind the screen here. So I have another question from Prakash ji. Can you please elaborate the verb asti? I am confused as the meaning of the verb can be is, am, be. Astu. So the verb itself comes from the root as, which means to be. So when you say aham asmi, so just like in English, the verb is to be, right? And then when you conjugate it, you say I am. So I am is the conjugation of the verb to be. Then I am, you are, he is, she is, right? So that is what is asti. It's the third person. Okay, so when you say he, she, it, then it will be asti. So saha asti, sa asti, tat asti when it's at the distance. Otherwise it will be eshaha asti, esha asti, etat asti. I think I was able to communicate during the course also the fact that the words that we have chosen are a selection of the possible pronouns even to express this. So you have other words like ayam, iyam, idam, and you have a host of other pronouns that mean the same thing. So we have chosen this because they're akaranta, akaranta, and it makes it easy in the context of learning simple spoken Sanskrit. So that's why we have used those words. But so I am is when it's the first person. So aham asmi, tvam assi, bhavan or bhavati, which is the second person second person formal, will be bhavan, bhavati, asti. So the typical question when you're meeting someone would be bhavan katham asti, bhavati katham asti, and the answer aham kushali asmi, means I have kushalam with me. Okay, so that li ending is something that we are going to be, that in ending, one who possesses, that ending is something we are going to be looking at in the second level course. So you say aham kushali for a man, and a lady would say aham kushalini asmi. Or a much simpler answer could be, if somebody says katham asti, then you can answer sarvam kushalam asti. So when we say sarvam kushalam asti, then we are actually indicating that what is kushalam? Sarvam. And how is it? Kushalam asti. Okay, so sarvam kushalam asti is the easier way of conveying or answering to that question of bhavan or bhavati katham asti. Astu. Then in the third person you have asti as he, she is, like I mentioned, he, she, it is. Astu. So I can see that the screen is getting stuck because of the internet issue here. Does all members here belong to humanities background? So Krishnananda ji is asking that question. Krishnananda ji is asking that question that whether everybody belongs to the humanities background, and the point is that no, everybody doesn't. Everybody, I mean, what is always very reassuring for me is the fact that people really belong to very different, a very diverse background of people are interested in studying this language, and that is also very reassuring. That's very heartening. So I can see that some of you are not being able to access it. I'll just make sure that I will pause when there is a certain issue, so that you don't miss out on anything that is being conveyed. So I will also in the meanwhile try to continue. Dhanyavada Krishnananda ji. So I will continue with the questions. Dhanyavada Swarna Bhagini. So here I have the next question, which is, can you recommend beginners level storybooks in Sanskrit? This is Prakash Chakoji who's asking me. So Prakash ji, like I showed you the list of Samskrita Bharati. So the website is Samskrita Bharati. I will just show it on the screen. So it's samskritabharati.in. So it is like Sanskrit. I will make it a little bigger for you if you are. Alright, samskritabharati.in. I guess what I'll do is I'll also share it on the chat. 1 second. So that's some place where you can find some easy books. That is, there are excellent collection of easy content there. All right. So next we have another one which says that what are the scopes of learning Sanskrit? So like I just mentioned about Open Pathashala, Open Sanskrit Pathashala, and then you also have Vyoma Sanskrit Pathashala. Samskrita Bharati itself offers some excellent courses through correspondence that you can join. And of course this is a platform that you can also learn from, and in Swayam also you have different courses that are coming up now, also in different languages, in Hindi languages as well. So for those of you who are not so comfortable with the English instructions, can look at the Sanskrit ones, can look at the Sanskrit Hindi presentations of the language and learn it from there. I have another question here from Pooja ji who says, would like to know the date of online exams. Like I said, we will try to hold it by the end of June. I took a couple of Sanskrit books as I started this course. Would like to know any online source to learn Sanskrit words, dictionary, etc. So I've shared with you. You can also look for Monier Williams. That's one of the most exhaustive dictionaries that we have, or Apte, Shivram Apte, that is also there. So these have Sanskrit to English, English to Sanskrit dictionaries are available by both these authors. Which are the sources to increase vocabulary? So I have shared about that also with you. Importance, so that was Deepak ji. Deepak ji is saying, I have not submitted any test paper. I get registration advanced course. If I have to repeat basic course, when is the next batch starting, and what are the resources to increase vocabulary? Deepak ji, for doing, I have been following your conversations on the WhatsApp group, and there is of course an opportunity to improve on the vocabulary. And so what I would recommend you can do is also that start taking up texts like maybe the Gita or something, and take a text where they already have the words that are described there. There's another excellent resource that I can recommend is the Vande Mataram Library Trust, which is an online, there's an app also with that, and you can have the whole of the Gita, the whole of a lot of the Upanishads, It's by the Sri Aurobindo Society, the Sri Aurobindo Foundation for Indian Culture. That's another organization that promotes excellent material in the Sanskrit language. We have Dr. Sampadananda Mishra there, who is a very good teacher of the spirit of the language. You know, he gives you about the words. So these are people that you can connect with. These organizations are promoting Sanskrit. The Sri Aurobindo Ashram itself has a Sanskrita Karyalaya. You can look for that. There's a lot of material available online at the Sri Aurobindo Sanskrit Karyalaya website. So please look at these websites and you can access the content that is available there. So I'm just checking because it looks like the screen is buffering at my end. बिल्कुल अवश्यं दीपक जी भागवतम् अपि पठन्तु सरलं भवति पुनः पञ्चतन्त्र इत्यादि श्लोकान् अपि पठन्तु पञ्चतन्त्रग्रन्थान् अपि पठन्तु so हितोपदेश पञ्चतन्त्र these are all simpler texts and very I mean they will enrich your understanding of the language. Astu anyadapi asti like I would really encourage you also to try and read some natakams like Abhijnana Shakuntalam. Evam patati chet vocabulary will already automatically increase. So one is of course the stotram. So like I was asked about the Lalita Sahasranama. So it's only when you are reading it and you have to take that extra step to look up the different words. So if you're looking up the different words, then you will be able to improve on the vocabulary around those words, using those words. Namo Namaha. I've got somebody called Tag Botany. Astu. So, Deepak ji, I hope I answered your question that in order to do the advanced level, which is yet to be recorded and offered, you don't need to have any certification. I am not making that as an eligibility for joining these courses because there are many who already have a certain level of Sanskrit and it doesn't make sense to require them to do the basic level again. So, undertaking these courses is really a matter of your personal confidence about your level of the language. And as the courses have been designed thus far, especially the intermediate level, includes a certain portion of a revision of the basic level and then it offers the next part. But I mean new vocabulary and new grammar. But with the advanced level, since it's yet to be designed fully, we will be we are considering maybe there will of course be a part of revision, so that people who are coming in know what has been covered, and then we will offer something more. So we still have a lot of word forms to be taught, word endings. How do the different vibhaktis unfold for words with different endings. Some more of the Atmanepadi and some more of the Samastapadas is something that I'm looking forward to introducing in the advanced level. Astu. So it is getting stuck. It's not a very good situation, but we'll do our best to continue as and when we are fortunate. In a world of uncertainties of life, I guess the fact that the internet is not behaving as it should is the least of our problems in a sense. We've got people at the back end, Vibhanshuda and the others who are really trying hard to make such programs work, but sometimes things are even beyond their control, so we just have to make the best of what is in our hands. That is in our hands, to choose the attitude we would like in any given circumstances. Astu. So I'm wondering, should I just wait till it rolls for this poor network here? There are many reasons why, with the shortage of staff, there are just so many reasons that we've been having storms in Bengal. Every other day there's a very, very heavy rainfall, lot of wind, lightning and all that is happening in this region. So and then the situation is not very conducive to quick repairs. So these situations have to be, we all have to take life in our stride. And okay, that's probably where that is probably one of the most valuable contributions of Sanskrit literature, because Sanskrit literature really is full of content that that gives us a lot of reassurances of life. That gives us a lot of reassurances in life. One of the most significant aspects of the literature of Sanskrit is the central role that it has given to the human being, and perspectivized, put the human being in perspective with the true potential of the individual, and also to understand how that individual can connect in the best way possible to the circumstances of life around that individual. So it is a literature. Swami Vivekananda beautifully says this. He says that of all the world's literatures, Sanskrit is that one, or the Upanishads. He talks very specifically about the Upanishads, where he says that the Upanishads are those one texts that that inspire us to being fearless. He says because they present such a lofty understanding, and by lofty there can tend to be a misconception sometimes that it is beyond our reach, but that's why there is a need for us as Indians to, especially the Indian people, because this is a civilizational inheritance, one of the most enriching civilizational inheritances that we have, and we are unfortunately so ignorant about the gems that this literature contains to teach us about what really matters in life. I think this pandemic is a brilliant opportunity, has provided this fantastic opportunity for many of us to ask some very foundational, very fundamental questions about ourselves. What are those things that koham, who am I, and jivane kim mukhyam, kim amukhyam, what is important, what is not important, kimartham uttejana bhavati, why is there so much of anxiety about life. These are very natural. I mean, we are all human beings at the end of the day, and it is only human to have these anxieties, these insecurities. But it is at these moments that it helps immensely to find an anchor in knowledge that is much deeper, that has been a time-tested knowledge, to help us find roots to allow us to survive any storm. Astu. So, aham janami, aham janami that it's getting stuck, but like I said, we'll continue, and sincerely hope that if you have the time to look through these again, please do so. Labha bhavati. But I was just wanting to reiterate once more the importance of not being content just with Sanskrit and the basic level that we have had thus far, but to want to go much deeper for oneself. I mean, at the end of the day, you will never regret it. The investment in this language is an investment that will only give you unending profits and returns all through your life, and it is never too late to start. Never too late to start. It might look daunting initially. Of course, it's not a very it's not a very easy language. And what I mean by not very easy is that it requires us to become aware of quite a few forms. It's like maths. You need to know a lot of equations to do something substantial with it. But once you know the equations, you can become a master of it. And that's the promise that Sanskrit holds. That if you invest that bare minimum of time to understand the logic of its grammar, which I have tried very hard to communicate in the courses that I have done, that I have tried to share with you. So if you try and understand the logic of the grammar, and you're able to hear the logic more than understand the logic, if you can hear the logic of the grammar, then you will be able to have a lot of freedom to access this invaluable wealth that is our legacy. Astu, I will just try to, we have another 15 minutes or so. I will just make sure that I've covered all the questions that we have received. I will just go here where it says, Deepak ji have answered. Sitaraman ji, importance of pronunciation. For example, a word like ichha, the second syllable in Sanskrit will be a combination of the first two letters of palatals. While pronouncing, how will it be known to others? So, because the Sanskrit pronunciation is very precise with respect to, the sthana, the prayatna, means the place of pronunciation, the quantity of breath that is being used for it. It doesn't leave any scope for ambiguity. And that's what is also again a very, very unique feature of this language, because this is something that I've been contemplating on, and there are some very interesting insights that one can gather from this, from a deeper contemplation just on the language. So, for example, the fact that you have the pronunciation being so precise. So, ichhati. So, the moment I say ichhati, that ich itself means that it is a alpa prana. So, it is a ch. Chhati, gachhati. We don't have too many uchchai. So if I say uchchai, 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 you can literally hear that uchchai. You can make out that it's not ch. So that alpa prana of uchchai means, which means louder or with a little more intensity. There you say it's uchchai versus gachhati. So the chhati will let you know that it's a mahaprana. Similarly, each of the sounds of the Sanskrit alphabet is very precise, and to me that is also a little bit of the yogic component of this language, because unlike in most languages where there is the freedom of the individual to express it in a very subjective manner. So I want to say a word and I would like to say it like this, like we see in English, you just have so many, the way the word rain is pronounced is like rain or rain, or you have such a wide range of possible pronunciations, which is very legitimate from the region from which it is being pronounced. I mean, there's no right and wrong about the pronunciation of English. Largely, I mean, there are of course certain rules, and one has to know what those are. So I'm not saying that you can do anything you want with it, but that there is a scope, there is a little bit of a range, there's a little bit of a free play on how you're going to express those sounds. In Sanskrit, that there are some words, some combinations that allow a vikalpa. You can either do it like this or like that. But for, I would say, 98 or 99% of the words, there really is no option, which is what is brilliant for anybody who is engaging with this language, because we are then invited to speak it as it is supposed to be. This is the right thing. It is not I want to do this. There is no indulgence, there is no pampering of one's egoistic preferences of pronunciation. This is a language that says it is Sanskritam, it has been well done. If we can align ourselves with the correctness of the language, that will serve to ensure a samskarana within us. It will ensure that there is a rightening up of our system, that we will start feeling, we will actually experience a certain fine tuning of our nature in order to produce the truth of these sounds. Besides the fact that, I have also mentioned it in the course, that the Sanskrit language seems to have captured the experiential quality of sounds. And because it has captured the experiential quality of sounds, there is very little scope for free play with it. So it's literally, if you imagine the universe as a realm of vibrations, okay, it's really like your internet, where you have so many possible windows, so many possible websites that you can access, but you need to, in some cases, put in the right password. If you don't put in the right password, you put in a capital A instead of a small a, or you put in a number instead of something else, it's not going to open, right? It will tell you this, sorry, it's the wrong password. So if you look at the world in terms of this internet, it's a vast web of vibrations. If you don't pronounce a sound correctly, then like I said, while there is a little bit of a free play, very little of a free play, it will not be so effective in opening up the dimensions that are that can potentially await our discovery. Okay, so that's why there is so much of a requirement of the precision of pronunciation, especially with the mantric sounds. But like I always put a caveat there, that at the end of the day, it is also the sound that we produce from our mouths is a sum total of the sounds of our emotions, it's a sound of our thoughts, and it's a sound of the very way we are pronouncing it. So if the words are perfect, but the thought is not pure, or the emotions are not pure, you can say it 100 times and the door will still not open, because that key is a very complex key. Whereas if the heart is pure and the mind is pure, then you can even say abracadabra and you will have that experience. All right. So it's important to also put in perspective this, rigidity about the correctness of the sound. When I speak about it, it is really an invitation to all of us who are engaging with Sanskrit to allow the truth of the sounds to create the maximum benefit in our system. Astu, it's not, the kind of your superiority of I know Sanskrit and you have to pronounce it right. That's not the intention of this insistence. Sanskrit as a language has the great power to fine-tune our consciousness towards truth in many, many aspects of its expression, be it grammatical, be it the sound of the language, be it the content of the language. At various levels, it is a very powerful instrument to help us connect to deeper truth structures of this creation. I mean, there are a whole lot of discussions on that. God willing, some other time we will have the opportunity to talk about it. But for now, let me see. There are some more questions that have come in. There's a difference for the first 4 counts with regards to gender. For example, for the first count, we have Ekaha, Eka, Ekam. So this is Sitaramanji. Can anyone? Okay, so Sitaramanji. So, so that's the requirement here. I will just pause a minute because I can see that the screen is buffering. So I'll just say. So I will just continue because I think there is again a lag that is happening due to poor internet connection. I will just answer this question so that whenever it starts, you are able to at least listen to it. So, the first four numbers, ekam, dve, trini, chatvari, when we are counting them in this manner, are really, when we are counting them thus, are really the napunsaka forms of the numbers. So, you have ekam, dve, trini, chatvari. So, ekam pushpam, dve pushpe, trini pushpani or falani, or phalani, sorry, phalani, not falani, phalani. Okay, and then you have chatvari pustakani, for example. Okay, so we have there, you have the a pullinga will be ekaha, ekaha purushaha, dvau purushau, trayaha purushaha, chatvaraha purushaha. And then you have the feminine words, the strilinga padani, tatra bhavati eka mahila, dve mahile, tisraha mahilaha, chatasraha mahilaha. Okay, and then pancha onwards is the same. Now, what is sometimes, I mean, you need to pay attention is when you are doing the ikara strilinga, because you have eka devi, dve devyau. Okay, you have to remember that. So it doesn't become dve devye like it is dve mahile. The ikaranta strilinga becomes yau, au. Okay, so dve devyau. So you see, when I keep talking about Sanskrit and what it offers the mind, it really is this. It really is this fact that you know that the mind has to be very alert. There is no scope at all for the mind to be complacent. No scope at all. And when we want to relate it to the brain, it is very interesting. It's the prefrontal cortex that is normally responsible for decision making. So this is a postulation. I mean, it needs to be studied and understood. So in that we see that the for Sanskrit as a language, that decision making is a moment to moment affair. Every sound that is uttered has to be a decision. There is no question of having a flow and saying, okay, this is going to happen. One needs to decide. Ka, if you say kala or if you say kala, they're two different words. So there's no possibility of relaxing on any front, and that's what activates a lot of grey matter in my humble understanding. And of course the multiple other benefits, sanskritasya pathanena, sanskritasya sambhashanena, sanskritasya shravanena, sanskritasya vyavaharena, sanskritasya jivanena, sanskritasya jivanena muktir eva milati. Mukti eva milati. When we are talking of mukti here, of course it's not about leaving the samsara and going elsewhere, but it's about being able to find that enlightenment within every single act that we undertake. Astu. So atra I will just go on and finish this question that I have here. So can we see, can anyone be an IAS officer with Sanskrit as the main subject? I am not very sure because I have never I have never really explored the IAS the exams thing, but I can find that out and I will let you know. Okay, it should be available also on the website of these exams, these civil service exams. So I think you should just consult any civil service book or website and get this answer. I heard that programming language coded in Sanskrit will take less time in running than other programming languages in English. Is that true? So this is from Srinivas Adapaji. Srinivas ji, there are a lot of what do you say? There are a lot of claims about Sanskrit being a very good language for computer programming. So at IIT also we have some work going on in the Sanskrit language in the computer department. In fact, last year we had held the 6th International Sanskrit Computational Linguistics. Sanskrit Computational Linguistics was held at IIT Kharagpur, and we had some very eminent scholars like Gerard Huet and many others coming from Amba Kulkarni ji, Dr. Amba Kulkarni in India, Professor Gerard Huet from France, excellent scholars who were talking, and young scholars as well, who have been working on this idea of what is the relationship of Sanskrit with computers. So what I learned a little bit there is that Sanskrit is a good language, is one of the fastest languages that can be processed by the computer because of the unambiguity of the word formations. But whether it is a programming language or not still needs a lot of research. So that's as much as my expertise also extends in the field, and there's a lot of scope. So kripaya prayatnam kurvantu. And we have Wasim Akramji who's saying that I just want to learn Sanskrit, avashyam. I would love to know, what would be the reason why you're so confident and you're so motivated to do it, because each one of us comes to this language for different reasons, but I'm sure that this language has so much to offer. I would also like to add at this point that there is often a gross misunderstanding around Sanskrit, that it is a language of religion. It is a language which is a religious language. This particular tag or label is almost as erroneous as saying that English, just because the Bible is there in English, the English language is a religious language. So that's the great error. I mean, I was told that there is something like at least 4 million to 30 million manuscripts that are waiting to be accessed still, that are lying unread, and in those manuscripts that are waiting to be discovered, at least 10% are very scientific texts. So we have an extensive scientific literature, extensive literature on just drama, poetry, you name it, and it's there. So Sanskrit language itself is a gamut that offers so many different disciplines are there. And I would say that one of the most unfortunate aspects of our education system has been the fact that we have not been able to tap into our own sources of knowledge traditions. Why? Because vayam sanskritam na pathamaha. Vayam sanskritam paryaptam na pathamaha. We don't study Sanskrit enough, and therefore it's like we're sitting on this huge pile of wealth, and we are constantly looking everywhere around us for someone to give us a blank check. We are in a very strange kind of a civilizational lack of identity in many ways. So I think that our time is also up. So we will also stop shortly. I have answered all the questions that came up here. We will be stopping shortly, and I've just seen some comments here. I will just reply to those comments and to make sure that I've not left anyone else out of here. So I will just see Shushmita ji is saying these interactions help to mobilize practicing Sanskrit. Thank you for taking the effort to have these intermittent sessions. Dhanyavada Shushmita Bhagini. No, Sumita Bhagini. Dhanyavada for your encouraging remarks there. WhatsApp chat is also great learning place. Satyam. So for the WhatsApp group, please write to us on the forum. I can share my email address, and you can write to me here. You can write to me on this email address for joining the WhatsApp group. So please make sure that you send me your number and that you send me your name, and we will put you on there. And what I would recommend for now is that when you're joining the group, kindly give a brief introduction about yourselves, so that the rest of the group can also know your background, and maybe a brief introduction about yourself, and also about what has been your motivation to study Sanskrit. That would be good fun to know about. Astu. So quickly I'll just wrap up the session now. We have, please let me know what I have informed you about that. Would Subhashitams and quotes, my personalities, be a part of the exams? What we have done this time is we are asking questions about the Subhashita, in the sense that the grammar in the Subhashitam. So it is important to be familiar with the Subhashitams, not the quotes by the people. We haven't included any quotations this time, but it would be important for you to know the Subhashitams, because like I said, that there is a grammatic component of the Subhashitam that is going to be queried. All right. Then I have here Deepakji, thank you for sharing with us about your experience with Vyoma. And then we have, can we watch the recorded sessions? Yes. Vinodji, bahut dhanyawad. It's very kind of you. I mean, yeah, sometimes we resonate, and then one can really look. There are many options. One should keep oneself open to also explore other places also, if that is a requirement. We have Sumita Bhagini sharing a wonderful insights, but unfortunately disturbances are there. I know. Hope the session will get uploaded. Drashtum na shaknomi, yeah. Can we connect a few words? And again the video pauses. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Astu. I think with these words, it's the situation is such that we have had to make the best of it. Tari kripaya mama anurodha asti. Yadi prashnaha santi forum madhye prichantu. So if you still have any doubts, any questions, please feel free to upload them on the forum. We'll try our best to revert to you at our earliest convenience. And Sanskritena Sanskritasya abhyasam kurvantu, Sanskrite sambhashanam kurvantu, Sanskritena vyavaharam kurvantu, or Sanskrite vyavaharam kurvantu, and Jivanam sukhamayam kurvantu. And under the circumstances of the COVID, asyam, asmin or asyam paristhithyam kripaya surakshitaha bhavantu, Sanskritam pathantu, jivane sukham anayantu. Dhanyavadaha.